Yo, what's up, guys? Let's talk about leadership in marriage and whose responsibility is for what. All right, cool. So I think that there is a misconception out there about marriage and it's a 50-50 thing or we're equal or any of this stuff um, and it's a big faulty area, and it's a mentally faulty area. And I think it's prevalent too in the manosphere. Like you hear a lot of guys of like, "Yo, what does she bring to the table? This and that." Like, yeah, nah, man. Sorry to break it to you guys. Here's the issue, um, with marriage and leadership and masculinity. Right? It all kind of ties in together. If you want to be a man, and you want to be a man in your marriage and you're kind of striving for that, you got to lead all the time. Everything in the marriage is on your shoulders. Oh, but my wife. Like, I hear the excuses like all the time. Like, my wife doesn't let me. Like, think about that statement for a second. That's insane. That is insane. So, okay, cool. I'll talk to her about that. And if that is not what's going on, guess who is picking up that slack? You. It's your job, man. Like, that's how you lead. Like, you pick up the slack. Like, marriage is about, I mean, a lot of you manosphere guys are going to get your heads bent out of shape, but it's service, right? That's what it is. It's service. It's service to another. It's like charitable service. And like your wife should understand that too. But at the end of the day, whether she does or she doesn't, the burden is on your shoulders to lead, to keep the realm intact. And that might mean that you're going to do multiple jobs. You're going to protect the borders of that realm and and kind of govern the house as well. Even if you're not technically governing the house as well, you are trusting her to govern that house appropriately, right? That's what you're doing. So for the guys out there like, hey, blah, 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 like I do this part, my wife does this. Yeah, man, you're trusting her to do that. And if it's failing, you have to step in and fix it. It's not her responsibility to fix, okay? You could have those conversations with your wives until you're blue in the face. And nothing's going to change, right? It's not going to fix anything. Maybe it gets better for a little bit of time, it fades back off, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, like you know what the faults are there. So you got to pick up the slack and correct it. It's your job to carry the burdens. It's not her job to carry those burdens. And those things that she's lifting, like as in kind of quote unquote, like the heart of the house, kind of the governor of the household, and you're out on the warpath and you're keeping the realm safe. Whatever it is, it's going to be ultimately your responsibility to do both. To trust her, to understand where um, her pitfalls are, and for you to also understand where your pitfalls are. You could ask her where your pitfalls are. I don't suggest you do that. I think that would be a poor idea, to say the least. Or you could just kind of examine yourself very quickly. There's not too many men out there that can't sit down with a pen and paper and find out where their pitfalls are, where your vices. What are those things you have issues with? Maybe it's your weight, maybe it's exercising, maybe it's alcohol, maybe it's other things. Maybe it's just laziness, maybe it's idleness. So you could quickly fix those out. Maybe it's just like a general weakness. Maybe it's a fear. Maybe you're scared of her. Maybe it's those things. You got to start correcting those issues. Maybe it's stuff with your kids. Maybe it's stuff between you and your wife. But you could quickly make a list, and it's not going to be very hard, of your weaknesses. And then you have a basis point to know where to correct. The other part, quickly, to know where your weaknesses are, is to know what she is unsure about, right? If she's unsure about your leadership in this regard, like maybe it's with the kids, probably pretty good indication that something there on your end, not her end, on your end is awry. Maybe it's finances. Probably if she's not trusting with that, maybe it's a pretty good idea to examine, like, hey, where do I mismanage? What's the deal? Like, what's going on with me as a man that is causing her to be anxious about this? Maybe it's nothing too. That could be 100% possible, because sometimes women will just worry about stuff to worry about things. But you have to understand if that's the case or it's not the case. So just to recap, at the end of the day, everything, the entire burden of the entire household and the marriage, children, everything is on your shoulders. And how you manage that is up to you. Any issues that are in your marriage, it is up to you to correct. Do you understand? It's not like this, oh, baby, you gotta do this. Like some that's some sob story stuff, man. I'm just saying. That is some sad, weird victimhood stuff, and I've heard it a million times. I've also done it. So been there, done that. And when you are weak like that, as a man, you are trusted less to kind of protect and provide and govern the household and protect the realm, etc., etc. So know those things about you, and know that you are in charge of all of it. You are in charge of leading all of it all the time. Even if it's like, oh, it's her fault. Yeah, it's your fault. I'm just telling you guys, like, for real, it's your fault. That's it. See ya.